Welcome to the Happy Bones, Happy Life podcast. I'm Margie Bissinger, a physical therapist and integrative health coach, and I am your host and guide on our journey to discover the keys to stronger bones, more happiness, and the secrets to live your best life ever. From nutrition to stress, from exercise to happiness, you will gain revolutionary insights from our leading experts. It is time for you to discover the health and happiness you deserve. Hey, Margie here. Did you know that your hormones have a major impact on your bones? Well, we're going to delve into this topic today with our special guest, Dr. Anna Cabeca, as well as talking about something Dr. Cabeca created called the Keto-Green way. Dr. Anna Cabeca is an Emory University trained gynecologist and women's health expert. She was diagnosed with early menopause at age 38. Devastated, she went around the world looking for answers and healing, and she found it. She's now a triple board certified menopause and hormone expert. She is internationally acclaimed for her work in gynecology and obstetrics, integrative medicine, and anti-aging and regenerative medicine. Dr. Anna has changed the lives of thousands of women across the globe, connecting to others through humor, honesty, and passion. Her book, The Hormone Fix, and other empowering transformation programs have helped women of all ages become their best selves. Her successful line of all-natural products features the alkaline superfoods drink Mighty Maca Plus and the rejuvenating vulvar cream Julva. Recently, Dr. Cabeca was named 2018 Innovator of the Year by Mindshare Collaborative. And in 2017, the Age Management Medicine Group presented her the prestigious Alan P. Mintz Award for Clinical Excellence. In this interview today, we talk about the relationship between our hormones and our bones and things we can do. We also delve into some other areas that affect women, such as vaginal dryness, brain fog, and many more. So it's really an interesting interview with lots of good takeaways. So stay tuned. Welcome, Dr. Anna. I am so absolutely thrilled to have you. You're just really one of my favorite people and doctors, and I love when we've been together. You're so much fun, but you've also contributed so much information, and you've helped so many women really all over the world, and your messages are just incredibly valuable. So I'm just thrilled to have you here with our community, and thanks for being part of this.
It's a pleasure to be here with you, Margie. I always get happier when I speak with you, so I'm glad to be here.
Oh, thank you so much. So why don't we just dig in, and why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and just what makes you so passionate about women's health and how you've got to be doing what you are doing today?
Yeah, well, it definitely stemmed from early on. I was a women's health advocate from being a young girl. My mom was needing to undergo cardiac bypass surgery when she was 52. I was 16. So this is back in, 1982. And I knew I wanted to be a physician. I was doing everything health related, volunteering, all that stuff. And I found out that much of the research that they based women's cardiac health on was based on men, research in men. And so that really drove me into being in women's health. And so a love for food as medicine, a love for worldwide medicine, and my own personal journey really has brought me to where I'm at now, and part of my journey, Margie, this is that my husband and we lost our only son in a tragic accident when he was a toddler, and that brought on so much grief and actually took us on a journey around the world looking for answers and looking for healing in a way that I didn't experience. My doctor's bag was empty at that time. I knew I was grieving, and we knew we had trauma, PTSD, and to intellectualize it a bit, my body went into complete shutdown. I went from breastfeeding, nursing this beautiful baby boy to never having another drop of milk, to being completely empty. in so many ways, right? Breasts were empty, soul was empty, heart was broken. And then being diagnosed, a few months later with infertility and premature menopause or early ovarian insufficiency. We went on to try anyway for months to try to conceive another child, and failed the highest doses of infertility meds. And then that's where I left my practice for a year and traveled around the world, really just on my own healing journey. But as a result, I learned how much we can do to improve our health, and the physical, the mental, the spiritual, and that it all works together. And that's what I incorporate into my programs, into my book, The Hormone Fix, and my next book coming out, Keto-Green 16, to really empower each individual to be in charge of their health. Because Margie, as a result, I naturally conceived a beautiful baby girl and delivered her I was 41, so years after I was told I would never be able to have another child. Now I'm a gynecologist. I saw the lab work. I looked at the ultrasounds, right? The ovaries were shut down. And so to be able to rejuvenate our bodies in so many ways, and that made a huge difference. But, the further story, as we understand trauma and grief, was the underlying physiology that continues under the surface, whether it's from post-traumatic stress, as it was for me, or chronic everyday stress. And as a result of that, understanding the emotional disconnect and the trauma that can have on our mental well-being, but certainly on our relationships. So this marriage that should have, been my life's marriage, ended in divorce. And so really understand the disconnection result of stress and trauma. And again, I write about that in my book because I want everyone to know where physiology drives behavior, and that how we can use our lifestyle and our, knowing this information could certainly save so many relationships, but more than that, increase the intimacy and love in all our relationships.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And, it goes both ways, because I think that's why you're such a great doctor also, because so many people don't incorporate this aspect. It's not the first thing many doctors, it's not even asked half the time, but yet this is absolutely critical. It's such an important piece, and the other pieces aren't going to work if we don't have all of them put together. And I love your book, by the way. I have it right here. It's just a great book. And you really give solutions, and you don't just say, reduce your stress. You give very concrete steps what people can do. And I love that, because that's what, I believe that, and that's what I've seen as a physical therapist early on, that once you incorporated that piece, everything started getting better. Chronic back pain, chronic neck pain, TMJ. It was just amazing. And you've done that so much with all sorts of health. Well, since this is Happy Bones, Happy Life, let's talk about a little bit about, I know you're very big on hormones and what you see in people. Let's correlate it with the bones a little bit. When you see people come in, what issues do you see that also have an effect on the bones?
Yeah, definitely stress. As we were just talking about, stress is the number one culprit in so many ways. Physical stress, emotional stress, environmental stress, toxins, all of these stressors on our body take our toll, because in order for our body to combat the stress, right, it's very high hormone demand, right? It's like putting your foot on the gas. Well, you constantly have to refill your tank. And so if it's not being refilled with the elements that are needed, we're taking them from our own body store. And mineral-rich bone is a great repository, right? A great source for us to get these nutrients, these micronutrients from the building blocks for our hormones as well. And that's a really big factor. Stress is certainly, but natural hormone decline is a big part, and that starts mid-30s to 40s. We start to get loss of one of our key bone building hormones that we don't talk about very much or enough, and that's progesterone. Progesterone actually can help our cells build bone, where estrogen decreases bone loss. Progesterone, testosterone, DHEA, those three key hormones, increase bone growth. So that's a big part of it, Margie. And another part is that we don't talk about much. We talked about this a little bit before we got started, is how hormones really affect our fascia, our connective tissue. And when we get stiffer in the fascia, we're pulling on bone. right? We're causing a mechanical stress on bone as well. And so that can cause, microfractures, especially with a fall or tear. We don't have the flexibility, like consider fascia, the shock absorber, right? We don't have that flexibility, and we're more likely to break, tear, crack. And so there's a huge hormonal component with that.
I love that piece. It's interesting because as a physical therapist, we work on fascia, and that's something that's really important. A lot of people just work on the muscles and the bone, the muscles, the ligaments, but this fascia is what connects everything. And so from a physical point as well, it's very important. I'm involved in myofascial release and things, but that also has an impact on how so it's interesting that you're taking it from all components of healthy fascia. And so what do you recommend in terms of making sure our fascia is healthy? Like what steps can people take for that?
Yeah, definitely. And I lay it out too in the Hormone Fix. I have a whole section actually when it comes to fascial health. Where it matters most in my business is the pelvic floor, right? And understanding as we get older, the vaginal walls thin, we lose the rugation and the natural folds of the vagina. And there's a function of the fascial component. Muscle thins out, fascia thins out, and it's very progesterone dependent, as well as DHEA, testosterone, and estrogen. But progesterone is a really big, because that's declining first and the reproductive hormones are derived from it, we start to feel that effect even in our 40s, 50s, and pelvic pain, discomfort, loss of elasticity, loss of contractility, so incontinence, whether it's urinary incontinence or rectal incontinence becomes an issue. Prolapse becomes an issue. So we feel this lower pelvic pressure at the end of the day, more difficult to hold our bladder or urine. When we leak when we cough or sneeze. We never seem to empty our bowels completely, or we have trouble with constipation. All of these are symptoms of hormonal. Really, there's a hormonal component to this. So between doing, pelvic floor exercises on a regular basis, right? Continuing to do our pelvic floor or Kegel exercises on a regular basis, as well as using natural bioidentical hormones. And because I suffered with menopause at age 39, first round of menopause at age 39, I suffered all of these at a young age and really became aware of how important hormonal therapies were. And there was nothing that really was acceptable for me, and that's why I created my product Julva, which is my anti-aging cream for the vulva, using it from clitoris to anus to really help this tissue get some hormones and nutrients and stem cells into, I use stem cells from the alpine rose, and to get this into the tissue to help keep the pelvic floor healthy and to re-nourish the deeper layers. So.
And that helps with symptoms of dryness, symptoms that are very, very common.
Yes, all of that. Symptoms of dryness, discomfort, itching, irritation, recurrent urinary infections, accidental leaks of the bladder, discharge, all of those things restores your natural moisture. So that, understanding, and then again with pelvic floor exercises, because we have to do those till we die.
Absolutely. And people don't realize they do them after childbirth, and they're taught in the childbirth classes and to do them. And that's it then. After that, they do them for a little while, and there's a huge window of time where there really aren't symptoms. And then down the road, once they start, oh my gosh, I'm having some urine leak, or they'll start doing them again, but that's so backwards. You really need to not stop. And I teach them actually as part of core stability, because when you do that, that increases your core as well. So that's so great. But it's amazing. I can only imagine the mail you get and the email you get thanking you for your product, because it's a serious issue for people all over the world. So
we have thousands of testimonials.
I can only imagine, because good for you that you created that. That's just really, really exciting. And I think everybody thanks you for that, because something that's very, very needed in today's day and age. So tell us about, so you have a whole thing that you do in the Hormone Fix. You want to sort of walk us through that a little bit about your approach, because I think it is different and it's great. So.
Yeah, because it all does help with also, again, the healthy bones, right?
Yes.
Back to healthy core, healthy structure, healthy anatomy, healthy physiology. And so my approach is a keto-green or keto-alkaline approach. And the way that, I tell clients, we test, don't guess, check your urine pH, check for urine ketones. As we approach, menopause and beyond menopause, getting into ketosis on a regular, intermittent or regular basis is critical for brain health, mental health, and physiology. We are designed to thrive in that environment, especially, I believe, after midlife. So this whole concept that I bring together is called keto-alkaline, or my keto-green way. And in my book, The Hormone Fix, I walk through a 10-day keto-green detox to quickly empower our body, remove toxins, boost up our physiology, and then another 21-day maintenance plan. But the concept is that we incorporate intermittent fasting, an alkalinizing low carbohydrate diet with healthy fats and healthy proteins in a ketogenic type of style. And we can do it plant-based or animal-based, right? But the importance is we're checking our urine and getting an alkaline urine pH, because that is a signal that we're in balance in so many good ways. It's not just about what we eat, but stress will make our urine more acidic. So then looking at that saying, hey, as much as I think I'm doing all this great stuff, but I'm not doing any self-management or stress management, or I'm not getting a good night's sleep, and it's really affecting my physiology. Now I need to work on these even more, right? And that just blows the mind of my clients as they start to do this self-discovery. I'm like, Nancy, and that really helps us guide it. So the process is based on really mastering 3 hormones, and that's cortisol, insulin, and oxytocin. So these 3 hormones that are master hormones to our entire body, we get these in play, working together, our body becomes in a beautiful harmony, and our mind's clear, and our a sense of presence, I would say. I call it energized enlightenment. We get this spiritual growth, we get this connection, and we just feel this heightened energy, this electricity, which is great.
I love that. Heightened, wait, can you say that again? Heightened.
Energized enlightenment.
Energized enlightenment. That's just so fantastic. Can we go a little more into those 3? Because I don't think everybody understands exactly what they are. And I think when they do, it even makes it clearer. So would you mind just going just a little bit into the 3 of those? Okay, yeah, great.
Of course. So with definitely like the concept of getting into ketosis increases our insulin sensitivity. We hear a lot about insulin as an inflammatory, and with diabetes, people are insulin resistant as we get older naturally. So our body becomes more metabolically conservative, and like, okay, we don't need to be metabolically conservative because we're living in, in abundance for the most part, right? Most of us are. And so, and the food choices we have are laden with glucose and sugar. I mean, even salad dressings have sugar in them. So really being conscientious that sugar is, not necessary at all in our diet.
Non-nutrient. I was a sugar addict, so I personally saw day and night once I got rid of sugar. And it's still something, I mean, it's been like probably 11 years now since I've had any refined sugar, but it's amazing. It's amazing. And when clients get off sugar, and it's incredible. So right, there's just nothing good about it other than you may think it tastes good, but
absolutely correct. And it just definitely sabotages us. And now we know insulin resistance is a cause of one of the causes of type 3 diabetes, which we call Alzheimer's disease. It's kind of been coined that way, that certainly every point our hemoglobin A1C, which is a measure long-term of our blood sugars over 6 to 8 weeks of our blood sugar management, that every point above 5.3, it increases our risk of Alzheimer's exponentially. And you can bet with all these inflammatory markers, with an increase in insulin, increase in cortisol, we are really taxing our bones and weakening our bones. And that's where we end up in a nursing home or immobile, and our quality of life is significantly restricted when we have damage to our bones.
And they've even shown actually that there's
intermittent fasting.
Yeah, wait, we lost you for a minute. Say that again about the last thing. It just froze for a second.
So with the ketosis component, it really leads, lends ourselves to intermittent fasting and low carbohydrate living. So that's part of it, the alkalinizing. And so we know with a ketogenic diet, healthy fats, which we need fats for our hormones, we need fats for our connective tissue, we need fats for our brain, and then healthy, good quality proteins. And so kind of look at, a balanced plate, and I describe what a Keto-Green plate looks like in my book as well, and I'll talk about that here. But then that's the big thing, is getting into becoming more insulin sensitive. And I've had clients, hemoglobin A1Cs go down from 6 to 5 when nothing would drop.
Wow.
This is a physician.
That's incredible. That's amazing. Wow.
Mine went from 5.6 to 4.8. And right, so I'm 53, and it's really important because I have heart disease on both sides of and diabetes on both sides of my family at young ages, mid 30s to 40s. And I certainly was trending that way 10 years ago when my hemoglobin A1C was 5.6. So,
and that's common, because truthfully, when people get their blood work, it doesn't even show up as pre-diabetes until I think 5.7. And so and it doesn't show on the blood work. No one says anything. I think a lot of physicians don't even say anything until it's like 6. So people are really getting up there right into prediabetes, and it's just not that big a deal according to their blood work, and it's not something that's paid attention to in conventional medicine.
And the modern approach is, when it gets there, let's give you metformin, let's get you, and then we start acting. So my business is, and the way I learned with gynecology and obstetrics, as well as functional medicine, anti-aging medicine, is what are we at risk for, and how are your numbers trending, right? How are your numbers trending? And that's really important to discern.
That's great. And that's really, I'm so impressed, Dr. Anna, that people have dropped so much. Well, the one thing also I just think we should mention about your diet is that it's not unhealthy fats. And I think that's so key. It's healthy protein, healthy fat, and there's tons of good greens, because a lot of people will think, oh, ketosis, I'm just going to eat. You can do this in a very unhealthy way. And your book is teaching people how to do it in a very healthy way.
Yes, absolutely. And the concept of getting balance with cortisol is, like I mentioned, checking urine pH. A lot of stress management there. When we are stressed, our urine will become acidic. So it's a vital sign. It is like one of the key vital signs for me, is looking at our urine and analyzing it this way. So one of the, I'll tell you the story when I failure at
wait, can you stop again?
Age 39.
Wait, stop. I'll cut this part out, but you keep blocking for some reason. I don't know why. So just start this part again. I'll cut this out. Don't worry.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, it just like stopped completely for like 5 minutes. Not 5 minutes, a couple minutes. So start again about the urine pH.
Okay. So
sorry, I just didn't want it to have a big it didn't. You just froze. Okay. Good. I'll cut this. The guy edits fabulously, so don't worry. Okay.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me just see if Amanda's on the internet.
Okay. It happened like 3 times. The other times is not a big deal. But this one was like, I missed a really good thing that you said. So.
Okay. So checking for urine pH is like another vital sign. Just like we check for our pulse, our blood pressure, our weight, our height, the urine pH really tells us what's going on. How are we managing our stress? The higher stress, the more cortisol that's poured out, which creates an acidification essentially of our urine. So that's really key. So we have to counteract it through lifestyle management and nutrition. And so part of what happened when I was 48, I entered another second menopause, essentially. I call it my second menopause. I started to have all the symptoms again, period, non-existent, but brain fog, weight gain, like 5, 10, 20 pounds without doing anything different. That started, Margie. And let me tell you, when my patients would come into the office and they would say, Dr. Anna, I'm gaining 5, 10, 20 pounds and I'm not doing anything different. I'd be like, sure, you're not, surely you're doing something. But it was true, so humbling as a physician to experience that myself. And legitimately, I wasn't doing anything different. So I especially because I'd been over 100 pounds overweight at one time and lost that weight and kept it off. Certainly I recognized like I needed to completely restrict carbs. So I went very keto and I hit a wall. I was agitated, irritable. I call it going keto crazy. And that was the light bulb moment, like what's going on with my urine pH? I've always followed more of an alkalinizing diet. And I checked my urine pH. It was acidic, the lowest reading you could get on the pH scale. Wow. And so I started adding the kale and the collards and the beet greens and the, lemons and the, just low carbohydrate greens, the cruciferous vegetables, and just incorporating more of that into my diet. And that was certainly helping. But the mornings I'd walk on the beach, I was alkaline all day.
Wow. Isn't that incredible?
Mm-hmm. That was a light bulb moment for me. And so then I took this plan, getting that weight within 6 weeks. But so not only did I lose that weight within 6 weeks, but I also had this clarity and I felt so good and energized and calm and peaceful, and nothing in my external environment changed. Stress was crazy. Teenagers were crazy. I mean, everything was crazy. But internally, I felt peace and the calm, the peace that surpasses all understanding that it talks about in the Bible. And I really felt that.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And it just goes to show you how powerful that peace is. And while we're on that, the third hormone that you talk about, which is the oxytocin. Do you want to just touch on that for a minute?
Yes, that is my favorite hormone. That is absolutely my favorite hormone. We know oxytocin is the hormone of love, bonding, and connection. It is also an anti-aging hormone. It is a pain-relieving hormone, and it certainly is a weight loss hormone. We know that when we're in love, we lose our appetite many times, right? We're like, don't even think about it. Oxytocin also counteracts cortisol, counteracts stress. So when stress is up, oxytocin is down, and when oxytocin is up, stress is down. We don't feel it. But that important, empowering concept of how do we get more oxytocin into our life? How do we feel happier? How do we feel joyful? No matter what our external circumstances in, is paramount for a quality life. And so I incorporated, and it was really important into my life because, we'd lost a child. I went through terrible depression. I can remember wanting to die every single day. And the sense of like, how would I ever be happy again? And why would I even deserve to be? And, that entire, and I talk about this in chapter 8 in the Hormone Fix. And, I bring you along with me in my journey in a certain way, but to understand like, yes, we all deserve health and happiness and joy in our life, and it's attainable. And God put eyes in front of our head to look forward, not to look back. And so there's a lot that I learned along this journey, but to do things that are that create joy and pleasure in our lives, so that we feel, and it's paramount to feeling connected and loving others as well as feeling loved by others. And that's critical. And when we are in the opposite, when we're completely stressed, we can be surrounded by people who love us and care about us, but we feel completely alone. And that's why I want this book in everyone's hands, Margie, and I appreciate your help in spreading the word about it. But the Hormone Fix is more than a diet plan. It's honestly a life plan in very tangible, easy steps to bring those aha moments together to create this sense of fulfillment in our life.
And that's what we want. That's what, so well that's what I believe in. And you just bring that together so nicely. And it's a piece that people don't try. A lot of people don't think, oh, am I enjoying my life? Am I having fun? Am I having relationships and that connection? But it actually does cause the release of oxytocin, which, as you said, I love that, with the opposite of cortisol, which can do only negative things and completely reduce your bone density, and as well as every other aspect of your health. So I love that. This is just such a win-win. And why don't you tell us, I know I could talk to you for hours. I love being with you, but why don't you just tell us, you have some other things. Is there anything else that you want to tell everyone that to get from this interview before we go on to some of the other things that you've created in your new book, which I'm really excited about?
Yeah, thank you. I really think that no matter what anyone is dealing with who's listening, whether what diagnosis you've been given, I mean, I was given the diagnosis of infertility and early menopause, and I was told there's nothing you can do. Here's, option for egg donation, and here's, antidepressants and sleeping pills, right? And no matter what you're dealing with, we can feel better. We can be in charge of our own health with the right knowledge and information and the next right steps, and discovering and discerning what is working for us and what is not. Listening to the inner voice. We are intelligent and intuitive. And we know we have to clear out the clutter. We have to clear out the clutter to be able to feel that and to make the best decisions that we can for our lives and for those that matter. So, if you've had cancer, if you've had, musculoskeletal disorder, osteoporosis, however old you are, et cetera, young you are, you can feel better, and you can be empowered to feel better tomorrow than it is today. I have plenty of miracle stories around this.
It's so great. And I always look at everything. We all go through challenges, and you went through a horrible challenge, but you have a beautiful family today. And, we all go through these horrible challenges. And what you did, that was very difficult. But look what's happened. So there always is that silver lining and that gift. And I see that with health all the time, where once you get through that health challenge, then life becomes better. You feel better than you did before you started. And I'm sure that's what people start your program, all sorts of things start clearing up. Oh, wait, my brain fog, I'm thinking better. Oh, and it's just a cascade of good things start happening. So I so totally agree with everything you're saying. And in terms of, I know you're going to have some gifts for people that they can, some links that I'll put in the show notes.
Yes. Yeah. We have a great book, an ebook called Slim, Sane, and Sexy. So that's one ebook that we really love. I love to give out because it really does help kind of just plant some seeds and get you on the first step for the Keto-Green approach. And also just the book. You can go to the link that's the dranna.com/book. And Margie will be sure to give you that link. But there's many book bonuses that are associated with the Hormone Fix that are essential. I love giving out. So.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So I'm so excited. And the I just think you have so many wonderful things, and it's different for a lot of people. This is something maybe new. And just one quick thing, because it's not for absolutely everybody. Is that correct? There are certain people that wouldn't go on the keto diet?
Well, definitely the keto diet. The Keto-Green approach is a very solid, balanced approach.
Right.
With really good recipes and menus. And so the big thing, if you're an insulin dependent diabetic, we have many who are doing our program, but I want your physician's approval.
Okay, great.
And so that's really a key concept. So we have, a wide variety of people that are going and adhering to the Keto-Green lifestyle. It's really how we're designed to thrive. And that's key. And along with it, I created supplements, my Keto-Green vegan protein shake. My Mighty Maca Plus has been around for 10 years. Part of my healing journey was finding these nutrients to help me. Again, there was nothing that could help me at that point in my life, right? And so, what I uncovered and discovered was, a solution that I created as a result. I created Mighty Maca Plus, and then later on, my other signature product, which is Julva. And we'll give your audience too a free trial of Julva, because every woman needs Julva in their medicine cabinet. Yeah.
Oh, that's so kind of you. Can you, before we leave, just tell people about your Mighty Maca, because that's really fabulous as well. Can you just?
Yes. It's a powerful alkalinizing combination of superfoods, including maca and turmeric, resveratrol, grapeseed extract, resveratrol, quercetin. I mean, really cute. And then una de gato, which is cat's claw herb. So potent anti-inflammatory ingredients and antioxidants combined with maca, which we use organic kosher maca from Peru, and been using the same source for 10 years now. And it is, it's an adaptogen. So it's an adaptogenic formula. Whether you're in overdrive or underdrive, it really does help bring many of these inflammatory markers back to balance, and hormonal markers supported. And so what we've seen with people who use Mighty Maca is you no longer feel that midday crash. I'm actually drinking hot Mighty Maca tea. In the winter, I just put it with hot water, and so make a Mighty Maca elixir in the morning too, with apple cider vinegar and a squirt of lemon. And that's really alkalinizing. And so that helps boost our alkalinity, which helps boost detoxification, which helps boost our adrenals, which help boost hormonal balance. So clients feel, tremendously better.
Wow. Such a win-win situation. I love that. That's great. So anyway, anything else before we end? Is there anything else that you want to share on any last minute things?
I just love being with you, and I'm just happier as a result of our conversation. So I know your audience is too.
Oh, well, that's so sweet. Well, I love being with you. And as I said, I just think you've done so much for the world, and that's what we need. We need people like you who recognize that there's something missing in traditional care. And then, but not only do you do this with your patients, but then you create products that can help people all over the world. And that's what you've done. So hats off to you, and you keep doing it. So that's so great. I can't wait to see your new book as well.
Yeah, Keto-Green 16. It's right up here on the shelf. And so it's available for pre-order now wherever books are sold. And definitely when you come to my website or book page, you'll see where our book bonuses are. And but definitely I'm excited about this because we'll be doing a whole 16-day challenge that, for our online communities, and we'll be doing a lot of fun stuff to kickstart this book. It launches Cinco de Mayo. So.
Oh, great. Oh, great. Oh, well, I can't wait. So anything that they opt into, they will get the information. That will be great. So I'll have all those links. And I'm excited because I know you're coming to the integrative conference in New York. So I get to see you next month. So that's great. So anyway.
I look forward to it.
Well, thank you so much for being part of this. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
Look forward to it. Okay.
Thank
bye-bye.
you. Bye.
I hope you've enjoyed today's interview with Dr. Anna as much as I have, and has some good takeaways that you can put into your life. All the links Dr. Anna talked about will be in the show notes, and she's offering this community a few things. She's offering a sample of her Julva cream, as well as her program, Staying Slim, Sane, and Sexy After 40. Well, who doesn't want that? Anyway, goodbye for now, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Happy Bones, Happy Life podcast. If you enjoyed this show, please subscribe on your favorite listening app so that you don't miss any amazing insights on upcoming episodes. And until next time, continue to live your best life ever. See you soon.